As you guys can see, I have a large coin collection with various different silver purities, a lot of world coins. And when I started part one, I didn't know I was really getting myself into until I really started looking into the different purities there were. It was kind of a learning experience for me as well. But there are a lot of coins with purities between 0.680 and 0.925, and some even slightly higher than 925, which is sterling. So I'm going to start part 2 now, but there will probably also be a part 1B, a part 1C, maybe even a part 2B, and there might be a part 3. So just letting you know, this is a work in progress. All right, let's get into it. So the way I'm going to do part 2 is I'm going to show you all the coins I have in my possession, ranging from 80% all the way to 925 sterling. And I'm also going to go through other coins. I'll pull up pictures and give you a description of other coins between 80 and up to 94.5, I think is the highest purity for a coin that was circulated. There's a whole bunch of commemorative coins from all over different countries, all over the world, and a lot of them range from 0.72 to all the way up to 0.999, but they're commemorative, they're not circulative coins. So the only coins I'm going to show you in this video in any of my my world purity coins videos is just circulated coins. I'm not going to show you any kind of commemoratives. So let's get started. So I'll start with the 1909 Philippine pesos. These were minted in the United States by the United States Mint. You see the S, that's for San Francisco, just like any U.S. coins. During the Spanish-American War, the United States won the property of the Philippines. So they minted their coins, and it was pretty much like a territory, just like Puerto Rico or something else at that time. And these are 80%. There were, the first few years were minted in 90%, and I think later on were minted in 0.75. Here's a Spanish 100 peseta. This was somewhat a commemorative coin, but it was used in transactions. You can see it looks circulated. So it's not like one of the commemoratives I said I'm not going to talk about. This one is actually like a circulated commemorative. These are 80%. And you see it says 1996 or 1966, and below it says 70. All of these were minted with the date 1966, but if you look close enough, there's 2 stars between the date, and you'll see 19, you'll see 70. Some of these go for a lot of money for some key dates. I think 69 is a key date, or 67. You can look it up. But this is a cool little coin, but they really only go for melt unless you do have one of those key dates. And of course the Canadian coins, there's just so many of them. I'll go through some of these. Some of these have some good toning, but these are really common. Here's one with some pretty cool toning. See if I can get that in the light. The ones that have the toning, some people will actually pay a little bit more, but most of these are only worth about $2 to $4. But some with the toning, you might be able to get a little bit more for the collector's value. But these are all 80%. Some people stack these, I guess just really for collecting, but some people do look for whole rolls of these. And they'll actually pay a little bit extra. You see I have 20, that's just high retail. And that's because of the toning. Here's some Canadian quarters. The moose has always been pretty to me. All right, and these are, okay, I have a 1889 Hong Kong 5 cent. This is when Hong Kong was ruled by Great Britain. Should have flipped it this way. And this is Ceylon or Sri Lanka. I keep flipping it like it's American coins. These are pretty cool, and they do go for a little premium, maybe 2 times over spot. So if this has about $2, it's about a $5 coin. All right, and this is an ultra rare coin that I have that I actually don't know the purity of. If you look it up, some people say it's sterling, it's 952, but I don't think so. I think it's closer to 80% and maybe 82.5. I'll show you why I came to the conclusion that the Malta coin is probably around 835 silver. Coins from that period in that area are 835, so I'm guessing that that was a pretty standard trading purity back then. So when I weigh it, it comes up just under 26 grams. So here's a similar, let's see, here's a Portugal one escudo. It's a newer coin, but let's see, 835, it's about the same. So it's about 835, so it's pretty close. If you test something with a higher purity, let's see, let's test a 90% Panama Balboa, 28. And if you test, let's see, Cuba peso, 28, so it's definitely not 90. And here is a 80% Philippine peso, and it's a little bit smaller, so of course it's going to be less, but it's a lot less. So my guess is this is probably 835, just knowing the history of that area and the trading purity. So my guess that this is 835. And here is my listing on eBay for the two Scudi. I did this so you can see more detailed pictures without me taking out the flip, because I've already took good detailed pictures for this listing. But you can see it's a reeded edge. It's a beautiful coin. This one was part of a pendant or something that was removed, but it's still an extremely rare coin. And here's another rare coin. This is about a $250 coin. This is like at the end of the Ottoman Empire. This is one of their last coins as the Ottoman Empire before it became Turkey. This one, no one knows how much were minted, but this one is in pristine, like uncirculated condition. And you'll see these on eBay for about $200 to $300. And this one is, it's not 825, it's 830. It's just beautiful. It's uncirculated. And I got this in a foreign coin lot. I don't think the person really knew who it was or did it any time, took any time to study it. It's an absolute beautiful coin. While most of the 2, 4, and 8 reals from the mid to late 1700s were minted close to 90%, the 1.5 real were minted closer to 81.2 and 81.3. Chinese coins in the early 1900s had some odd silver purities too. Some of them were between 80 and 82%. Some of the Hungarian and also some of the lower German thalers were minted in 833. That was a common purity for those regions in that time. All right, 835. I'll start with a Portugal one escudo from 1915. These are pretty awesome. You can get these for a pretty reasonable price, for about $30 to $40. You can find one in good conditions for about maybe $40, $50. And I also have the Portugal 50 centavos. Now these actually go for about 70. And I'm not sure why, because they're more abundant. You can find these all over the place, but whenever you look on eBay, the one escudo goes for about 30, 40, and these go for about 60. These are beautiful coins. That's why I have 3 of them. Every time I found them for 20 or less, I always just buy them. They're beautiful. The detail on the back is really nice. It has a problem with like tarnish and stuff getting in over time, but if you can get a nice clean one, they're just beautiful coins. And here's a Switzerland 5 franc, 1953. This one, if you watched one of my other videos, I got this one and also this 5 franc from France. I got both of these for 25 cents each in a foreign mix box. The coin shop didn't know that these were silver, 835 silver, and the prices you see are about what they go on eBay, about $16 to $20 each. So keep your eyes open, you'll find them if you look hard enough. Here's some Belgian francs. Well, that's a Venezuela. I have another Belgian franc. So here's 1867 and 1881. You'll find these rubbed down a lot. It's hard to find good versions of these. They're always rubbed down. But if you can find, I think it's the 1881, this one, in really good shape, they go for good money, really good money. I've seen them. I got this one for probably about $15, but I've seen them go for like $80 in good condition. But these are some cool coins, but most people don't like them because of Leopold. The whole Congo and the whole kind of Belgian reign down in Africa. And here's Venezuela, Venezuela 1 Bolivar. These are really cool, but they're common. These are really only worth about melt. But these are a good starter coin. So if someone is looking to get into foreign coins, world coins, these Bolivars are really good. They're a really good coin to start off with, and they're pretty cool too. They look good. And here's some 1 francs from France. These are pretty cool, but they're not good for stacking. These probably go, depending on the quality and the year, they go for about melt, maybe 1.5 over melt. But one thing I like about these is this one. You'll see Napoleon III. That's when he was emperor. Well, when Napoleon started out, he was president, and under the president, he went by his real name, his full name, Louis Napoleon Bonaparte, which he was Napoleon's nephew, like grand nephew or something like that. But these are pretty cool. If you could find these in good condition, you could probably sell them for about 20, 30, about 20. I would say 20. But you can find them. You can see how they're rubbed down. These are another coin like the Belgian coins that were just used so much that they're rubbed down. It's hard to find a good one. All right, and here is a coin from Haiti. This is a 20 centimes. And you can see that a lot of these coins, a lot of the 835 coins have something to do with France. That was a common purity that France used, and other coins that were like allies or that commenced with France a lot. And this one is a really cool coin too. I have this one on eBay for about 25 or so, and it's got a lot of detail. And I think these coins are beautiful. And here is a rare coin. I've actually sold one of these for $154, and every time I see them for $35, $40, I just buy it. I just don't even think twice. There was only 15,000 of these made, and I don't know how many were destroyed, how many were melted down, how many were lost. So I just buy them every time. But each one of these, I had 4 of them, but I sold one, the Hungary one Corona. And the reason why I started collecting these coins is the back, that kind of crooked cross on that church steeple. It's just a beautiful coin. And also I collect these because there's only 15,000 ever made. Now, if you see the 1893 and 95, those are worth just about melt. It's really 1892. 1892 is a real scarce date because they switched from the silver standard to the gold standard, and I think they just kind of stopped minting at that year. I don't know the whole story, but I know there's a connection between them starting the gold standard in 1892. Only 15,000 made. And here's a France 1 franc common. These are worth about melt, but they are pretty, and they're usually really rubbed down. And here's a Italy 1 lira. The 5 lira is also, the 5 lira is 90%. You'll see a lot in the France coins, the Belgium coins, and a lot of other coins, in Italy coins, a lot of European coins, the 5 franc, the 5 lira, and other stuff like that. The larger denomination will be 90%, but the smaller denomination will be 835. And these are another European coins that's just really rubbed down. It's hard to find one in good condition without spending a lot of money. And here's some more France. Let me see. Here's more France. These are the 50 centimes. These are pretty common. Here's one of Napoleon. Well, Napoleon III, I meant. Still rubbed down. It's really hard to get any of these in good shape. And here's in 1894, 50 centimes, and a 1919 50 centimes. This one's in pretty good shape, but probably because, you know, it didn't get used much. This one actually has a really good luster on it. They were beautiful coins. You can see there was a big connection between the styling of the French coins and the United States coins, U.S. coins. And France and United States were pretty big allies back then. Let's see, another Venezuela. This is a 50 centimos, sorry. And here is Ethiopian Gersh. I think the 5 Gersh, whatever it was 90%, but the smaller denomination coins were 835. And I'm about to get into a lot of Spain. That's why I'm picking through, so that way I can kind of go through all the Spain at once, because I have a lot of Spanish coins. So here's some Swiss coins, a half franc, 2 half francs, one from 1913 and one from 1962. One from 1962 is pretty clean. All right, now to Spain. So, one reason why I collected a lot of Spain, especially from the 1880s to 1870 to 1914-ish, is because I was building up a collection of Alfonso XIII. Because with the Alfonso XIII coins, you know, they started out with his portraits. Let me see, this is kind of out of order. I'll start this way. So here is, okay, so in 1870, I think it was between like 1869 and 1870, there was no king. There was no queen. In 1868, there was his mother, Queen Isabella II. She was called names. She was pretty mean. Everybody hated her. So they revolted and changed, and between those 2 years, there was no king or queen, no monarchy. So these coins are actually pretty rare. They go for a good bit of money. One in this condition will go for probably about 30-40 bucks. Ones in better condition can go for much higher. And here's something else cool about the 1869-1870 1 pesetas. So you see how the pesetas before and after that time said on the reverse, Rey Constitution de España, which means the King's Constitution of Spain. On the 1869 to 1870, since there was no king or queen, it said 200 piastas in kilogram, which meant 200 pieces to a kilogram, which means it took 200 of these to equal 1 kilogram of silver. And here's the father. Here is Alfonso the 12th. This is a 1881 50 centimos. And they all have the same back. So I may not show all of the back, all the reverse. So here is a 1882 one peseta or una peseta. And here is this is Philippines, because at this time Spain owned the Philippines. This is a 20 centimos, 1885. And this one, you can actually see it rotates the other way. It rotates horizontal. All right, and here's an 1891. That is a first portrait, the baby portrait. If you can get these in really clean, like uncirculated condition, that he has a lot of hair detail, but the baby usually looks raw, like bald. I mean, the baby usually looks pretty bald. That's the first portrait. Here's another one with the first portrait. You can see this one is a little bit better detail. It has less tarnish on it. Does have a punch mark. It looks like someone punched something through the nose of it. And here is this is still the first portrait, 1892, 50 centimos. And here is the second portrait, 1896. And here's another second portrait, 1900. And here is another second portrait. Actually, I'm wrong. Those are all third portraits. I have these mixed up. So here's a second portrait. The second portrait is probably the rarest of all the portraits. There's just not many of them, and most of the coins in this area are really rubbed down, or air, I should say. So if you find any of these, just buy them, unless they're a ridiculous price. But these I don't have listed anywhere because they're part of my personal collection. And here's another third portrait. This is 1901. And then I have a fourth portrait, but it's in the 90s. I'll go ahead and get that. Let me see. Okay, it was 1904, but here it is. This is the fourth portrait. And this was the last portrait from 1904 to 1926. There were no silver coins between 1906 to 1926. 1926, they brought out silver again, but it was only one coin for 1 year, and I have to say that Alfonso XIII is a pretty ugly adult. I started collecting these coins when I found out how they followed Alfonso XIII's age through the portraits, because he was only a few months old when Alfonso XII died, so he was under the resurgence or the reagents of his mom, who really was running everything, but because he was destined to be king when he turned 16, they just kind of showed his progress through the years. So I thought that was extremely cool. And like I said, this is part of my personal collection because these are really hard to find and they get expensive. Here is the 1926 50 centimos. This is the fifth portrait. Now you see what I mean. Pretty ugly adult. In the mid to late 1700s, there were Russian rubles, there were Austrian thalers, and some Polish coins that were minted in .875, which Poland was owned by Russia at that time. Here's another Chinese coin with the odd purity, .877. Okay, 90%. But first, here's one that's a little odd. There was a lot of Mexican coins that were close to 90, but not quite. Even some of the U.S. early coins were not quite 90, but close enough. This half real from 1772 was .896. So you would never know the difference, but just technically it's not 90. Here's a 1795 8 real that I recently sold on Mercari. One of the coins I regret selling, but I guess it's all part of the journey to find another one. But this one was in really good shape, and this one was .896 silver. .896 was a very common purity for Spanish colonial coins. All right, so here's a $2. Like you've probably seen in some of my other videos, this is one of my prized possessions. This is an 1840 $2, which was 1/7 a Cologne mark, which a Cologne mark is kind of weird. There was no Cologne mark coins minted. It was just a medieval kind of Germanic amount of silver used in a trade. It's confusing, but there was no Cologne marks minted, but it was an amount of silver that was traded. So the coins would be cut down to 1/7 of a Cologne mark. I think a Cologne mark was like 7 ounces or 8 ounces. It's a weird number. But because I looked it up before to see if there was any one Cologne marks made, and this is pretty much the largest silver coin ever made. There was a few more years, but I love this one because of the details. This is one of the most beautiful coins. I paid a little premium for this one. I think I paid about 80, 85 for this coin, but it's worth about $250. And here I have a couple of Panama coins. I have a 1 Balboa and a 1/4 Balboa. These are both 90, but you have to be careful. Not all are 90%. These closely resemble U.S. coins because they were minted in the U.S. So before 1964, I believe, they were 90%. Some of them were 75, I believe. Maybe I'm getting that mixed up with the Philippines. But these are very similar to U.S. coins. Kind of resembles like a Spanish version of a quarter. But the back of the 1 Balboas are just beautiful. I had about 3 of these. I think I sold 2 of them. It's just beautiful. All right, and here's a couple of 5 francs. So the 5 francs, it depends on the market. These can sometimes just go for about melt, which is about $24 to $27 depending on the time. the price of silver, but sometimes the premium on these will kick up to maybe double. There's times where I've had offers on these for like $65, $70, which I should have took them, but at that time I was waiting to do a video like this, so I wanted them for a presentation. Here's the newest coin to my collection. This one is 90%. This just came in the mail today. This is a 1871 $1. This was the last year of the taler. In 1873, they switched to the mark. So this would have been a 5 mark or a 5 mark. Next is part of my prized possession. These Cuba coins are extremely hard to get, and they're also extremely hard to sell if you ever try to sell them. These are all 90, and these were minted in the United States by the U.S. Mint. So especially around this time, the early 1900s, the United States tried to help out a lot of different countries around the world by printing or minting silver coins. And the United States had up and down kind of tumultuous relationship with Cuba over the time. So during the Civil War, around that time, the mid 1800s, late 1800s, the communications and the trading were pretty good, but then the farmers in the South were afraid that their cane sugar would take over their beetroot sugar or their beet sugar, and there was a embargo then, blah blah blah, and then the U.S. tried to help them out. They refused, and then the Soviet Union came in the 50s and 60s and started making connections. Anyways, I'm going off topic, but this is a Cuba peso. This is one of my prized possessions. This whole 1915 set, I don't think I'll ever get rid of. But this Cuba peso, I think I bought from Slovenia. I had two of them. I had 1915 and 1916. I can't remember which one that I bought from an online store on eBay. When the first bidder decided not to pay, I got the second bidder. But then I bought an emergency because I really wanted one bad. I bought one from a Slovenian website, which was no problem. It got here like 2 weeks, but these coins are just absolutely beautiful too. And it sucks that there's an embargo in Cuba because there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to buy or sell these. But this is the 1 peso, and they all look similar. And this is the 40 centavo. It looked, like I said, they're exactly similar. And here is the 20 centavos. And the 10 centavos. I also have the 5, 2, and 1 centavos, but they're not silver. They're copper nickel. And here's 2 Spain 5 pesetas, and you can see it has the first and the third. Let me get that right. The first and the third portrait. And I think there's a bunch of German coins here. Let me see. Okay. So I have these 2 coins here just to kind of show you, so you don't get tricked or you don't get confused, because a lot of people see the Third Reich coins, the ones with the swastika on the back, and think they're both 90. The 5 mark is 90. The 2 mark is 625. So just keep a note of that. If you want the 90% silver one, you want the 5 mark, not the 2 mark. That's why the 2 mark is like half the price, or less than half the price. So the Third Reich 5 mark. Oops. All right, and here is a 1876 J 1 mark. With these coins, there's about 10 or 12 different mints, and some of the mints are more rare. Like A is Berlin, but the A through E is pretty common. But if you get into like F, G, J, and there might be some other ones, those are a little bit more rare and worth more money. So if you are looking to collect like some German silver, especially part of the German Empire, get the lower. You want to go for the lower mints, like the E, F, G, and J. Those are the best ones to go for. And then all of these coins really have the same front and back. In the few first years, from like 1873 to 1877, they were calling them 50 Pfennig, but then they changed it to half mark. But they're the same thing. 50 Pfennig is a half mark. So all of these pretty much look the same, just different years. And that's for the 1 mark and the half mark or 50 pfennig. And here's some French coins. Now this one might be a mistake. You know, this is probably E35. I don't know why it's written 90. Just going through my coin collection, must have made a few mistakes. Here's a 1953 Dominican Republic coin. I love the Dominican Republic coins. I had a whole set. I had the peso, the 50 centavos. I had the 20 centavos and the 10 centavos, but I sold it as a lot. I sold it for like 125. I think I paid probably 50 total for it, maybe 60. But I love these. It has the Bible in the back. The Dominican Republic coins are just extremely beautiful. I've always been a big fan of them. And here's a Honduras 20 centavo, 1951. Here's another Dominican Republic coin, 1959. Just beautiful. And here is a Colombia, a 10 centavo, 1942. These are hard to find in good condition. These are usually slicked out or dirty. It's hard to find any Colombian coins that's clean. This is a 10 centavo from 1938. Rub down. And here's a really bad one, but I think I paid only $1 or so for this one. 1913 10 centavo. There's also a lot of Mexican coins from the early 1800s to the 1860s up to maybe the 1880s where they use a standard of 0.9027. So if you want to call this 90%, you can, but it's more like 90.2 or 90.3 is what a lot of like NGC calls it, 90.3. And these are beautiful coins. This is a pretty rare one. The mint mark or the SA or that kind of combination, you can find some real valuable coins. Like this 1880 Go S, I forgot exactly the mint marks and SAers. But these are real beautiful coins, especially you can get them in high grade. And here's a medieval Portugal coin from around 1799 to 1816, a 60 race, and it's 9167. There's a lot of coins with the purity of 9167 around the medieval times. I think it had something to do with the breakdown of the Cologne mark and those kind of medieval coinage systems, which are weird. It's insane. If you look it up, you'll never be able to understand it. But these are beautiful coins, especially if you can find them in good condition. This kind of condition is probably about a $20 coin. But you can find sometimes $10 ones. If nobody's looking, you find a good deal. Or if you find them in really pristine condition, they can go for $100 or more, maybe $150. Now on the sterling, 925. So almost all sterling coins are from Great Britain or Great Britain's territories, but not all of Great Britain territories had sterling coins. One of those territories was Newfoundland. So this is a 1941 Newfoundland 5 cent. This one is 925, and it has beautiful details. And some of the Great Britain coins I have, here is a 1873 1 florin. And this is the Godless or the Gothic florin. You can see it doesn't have a year on it, but it does have in Roman numerals 1873. And here is a 1834 shilling, sorry. And this one is William the Third, or William the Fourth, sorry. And you see some of these change, so you would expect this to flip horizontal, but it flips vertical. There's a lot of changes back then. Some British coins flip from side to side, some flip vertical. I think some of the older ones from the early 1800s flip vertical, and then sometime in history they changed it. Here's a 1894 1 shilling. Let's see. I think it also, but it is weird. When you start dealing with foreign coins, you'll see the flip pattern changes. So here's a 1906 1 shilling. Nope. Here is 1818 shilling. Now 1818, from 1816 to 1817, 1819, from that time range, you'll see there's a lot of crowns and shillings and other coins that are just so cheap. They're so cheap because in 1816 they jumped back onto the gold standard. I think they were on the gold standard until like 17 something when Sir Isaac Newton was in the Royal Mint. At that time he suspended the gold standard, but the gold standard was reenacted in 1816 around that time. So they just demonetized silver. So there's so many crowns and so many shillings from that time. You can get them for really cheap. And here is a 3p or a threepence. Here's another threepence. And Great Britain minted sterling silver coins until after World War I. I think 1919 was the last year. 1920 they switched to 50%. So here's a 6p. Here's a threepence. And here's a 4p, a groat. This one is actually pretty rare. Let me see if I have a price on it. I don't have a price on this one, but this is about a $50 to $60 coin. Some Spanish and Madrid coins were minted in 931 silver, like this Pretender coin from 1708. This is one coin that I wish I didn't sell. I was offered $153 for this 2 real. But this coin was part of the Spanish succession, where from 1704 to 1711, parts of Spain considered Charles III, or later renamed Charles VI, the king, and not Philip V. And for the highest silver purity circulated coin I could find, the Netherlands won golden from between 1850 and 1865, minted in 945 or 94.5% silver. And I know what some people are going to say. They're going to say I missed a Britannia silver, which is 0.958. But I don't think there was ever any coins minted in Britannia other than the newer bullion Britannia. But from 1697 to 1720, I don't think any coins were minted in Britannia silver. It was just a standard to prevent people from melting down sterling coins. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe and comment below. I try to respond to every single comment. And as you can see now, it's cleanup time. I've got to reorganize every single one of these. It's going to be a nightmare. So please, if you enjoy this video, please like and subscribe. Bye.